Hey, it's MK, and I am here to share a new thing that we are going to, I say we, like I have a mouse in my pocket, but we being the fellow YouTubers that love to collab with each other, we all got together and decided that February 2nd is Groundhog's Day. Woo! Okay, no, that's not what we decided. It's always been Groundhog's Day. But what we decided to do was to take a spin off of that really cool movie called Groundhog's Day that had Bill Murray in it, and it was just so awesome. I love listening to that radio station that every morning he wakes up and they're all laughing and saying, "It's Groundhog's Day, blah," and anyways. So what we intended to do with Groundhog's Day is have a little spin on it where we scrap lift ourselves the same layout every February 2nd. So for like ever and ever and ever until we decide no longer that we are interested in doing YouTube videos, every February 2nd we are going to revisit the exact same layout that we started with every time and scrap lift ourselves the exact same layout. And it was hard for me because I kept thinking, oh my gosh, what layout do I want to do over and over and over again for like all eternity? Well, at least until I decide I'm no longer interested in making videos for you guys, which I hope never does, because I really truly do love doing this, you guys. I love sharing. So, where was I going with that? Oh, February 2nd. That's where I was going with that. This is the layout that I chose to scrap lift myself for all eternity, is these guys right here. Okay, so I picked a double page layout. For two reasons. One, because I'm a cheater and I love to find loopholes in everything. So I picked a double page layout because if I don't have this many photos to scrapbook, I can just lift one side, right? I can lift this side or I can lift this side. I can make this one into a two photo layout. I can make this one into a 2-photo layout. I can adapt and improvise. So that's why I chose a 2-pager, right? Plus, I picked this one because of the fact that I love having all of these little window frame type dealios going on, and I can change out the shape. So I don't always have to do a rectangle. I can do a ton of flowers. I'm not a floral person. When I first started, I thought I was going to be, I have a ton of flowers. I have a ton of these layered flowers like I used here. I have a ton of leaves because that's like my favoriteest thing on the planet besides gears. So this is the layout that I chose to do. And I haven't picked out supplies. I haven't picked out anything yet. I just wanted to share this with you guys to show, for one, to do a little introduction of what it is that we are doing February 2nd of every year for the rest of our YouTube lives. And then also, too, to kind of sort of give you guys an idea of why I picked what looks like a complicated layout. But it's really not. I mean, I can do mixed media around here if I choose to. I mean, there's so many adaptations that I can do with this layout. It was like a no-brainer. But anyways, I just wanted to introduce this to you guys. So I'm going to go and pick out my supplies, pick out some photos, see where I go with this. And I do look forward to seeing what I do with this layout every year, or will I start with this layout and then next year scrap lift the layout that I did today, or that, and then the year after that scrapbook, so I continuously, like a telephone hop, right? I continuously keep scrap lifting the next layout that I do from this one, or do I keep coming back to this one? I don't know, but I can't wait to see all the different adaptations of this layout and everyone else's layout too, because I'm so super stoked at this, and it just sounds so fun. Okay, let's go see what I can make. All right, so the papers that I have picked out are a couple of wood grains from P13, and then I also have a ton of die cuts that I used, which are like dies from Stampin' Up, so they are more like Stampin' dies. So these really delicate leaf clusters are from Artistically Inked Stampin' Die set. And then these open leaves are from the Good Morning Magnolia set, which is again a Stampin' Die set. The Prized Peony. What did I use from Prized Peony? Oh, yes. The first set of leaves that I showed you that are 2-layered. And then these cool white ones are from the first Frost set. I absolutely love those. And then the branches are from a Tim Holtz, like a mini tattered flower thing that I did. So, and then of course the P13 wood grain that I have decided to use. All right. I also have a ton of photos. And I cut out some of my gears. They are a digital file that I offer on my shop in case you guys are into gears. And then I plan on using a ton of mixed media to make the gears look metallic. So I've got some picket fence, paper glaze, and a whole bunch of Nuvo dots and like drops, I think is what they're called. But I got them in glitter and in metallics. So like a copper penny and, what's that called? A shiny metallic. I don't know, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm horrible at knowing the names of the products. I really am. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this picket fence. Now, the one thing I love about this picket fence paper glaze is how fast it dries, like to the point where I barely put it on my finger and think that I have a ton on my mat, and that's why I keep trying to lift it up on my mat, but it's already dried, and so I just have to keep adding and adding, but I don't want to cover the whole thing. I just kind of want it to look dirty, I guess is where I'm going with that. I do not remember the color of these two colors, but I do know that I think that's the only brown that Picket Fence offers, and then this is like the only gold that they offer. So I'm not really sure exactly what the colors are. I apologize. If you guys ask in the comments below, I definitely will let you know, because I can get off my lazy bum and go look at the colors if you guys are interested. But they do dry super uber fast. So like by the time I am done messy fingering up all of the gold gears, then all of my brown gears are ready for me to go back to. In fact, I think by the time I clean up my gold mess, they're dry too. So not a big deal. In fact, the last layer that I put on is the layer that takes the longest to dry, because the next layer that I'm going to put on is the glitter, because I want to use the glitter for the grit. Actually, I'm not using it for the sparkle, but I want that grit, because then when I add the metallic drops on top, it's actually going to cover up the gold or the glitter and just kind of give it that gritty dimension as if it was a dirty gear. So that's kind of what I'm going for. This one here, it's like a glitter accent, I think is what it's called, for the Nuvo drop. And I do have to say that it took me forever to get it started, but I put it on my finger first because the last thing I wanted it to do was splatter all over my project and ruin a gear. So I made sure that I was going to, if I'm going to make a mess, I want it on my finger rather than on my gear. But I guess I could have definitely put it off to the side of my messy mat. I just wasn't thinking. My fingers are already dirty and filthy, and so I don't know. I just love doing this process with my fingers, to be honest. No other tool but my fingers. And then the next one that I have, this is like a glitter glaze. And so it's kind of just like clear glue with glitter inside it. So when you rub it on and you spread it thin, the glitter stays, but the liquid has no color to it. So it's a clear liquid. So that's kind of cool. And I love the shine in that glitter, by the way. All right, now I'm putting on my two metallics. I've got like an antique gold, or a soft gold, I think is actually what it's called. And I have it in a test tube. It's like a sample tube rather than a full size tube. Now, these are mostly the tubes that I get in my Tonic Studio kits. And actually, I have to tell you guys, lately this year, not 2022, but all of 2021, I think I received like one or two of the teeny tiny little ones. Whereas my first year that I signed up, that's all I was getting was the little sample bottles. And I have to tell you, it hurts for me to have to squeeze that tiny little bottle, but there's a lot in there. I mean, I dumped a bunch on these gears and I still have a ton in that bottle. So it's definitely something that I would purchase if they were available, because I don't like having the large bottles and then, they stay around forever. I love it when I use up my products, you guys. I don't mind having to go and find another color. It just doesn't bother me one bit if I like a gold and then have to turn around and find a different gold to replace it. I'm okay with that because years down the road, I'm not going to know what gold I used. Well, actually, my OCD, I probably will. But to be honest, I don't know. I just like Heidi Swapp Color Shine, I'm not really into that. Like, it didn't hurt my feelings that I had to go find a different gold because I just love all the different golds that I have in my stash. So, I don't know. I don't get attached to things very much except for friends. Anyways, so this one here is called Copper Penny. I absolutely love it. It is definitely something I am glad I have in a larger bottle because I do this type of technique with it quite a bit. I love making all of my stuff look coppery. This is my favorite technique to do with this jar, with this bottle. And so I am glad that I have it in a full size because I use a ton of it and it will be a product I will purchase again. But I do also have my gilding wax in copper as well. I should do a side-by-side comparison to see if they're two different colors or if the gilding wax will do the same thing. I guess I should have figured that out. But one of the things that I love about using the Nuvo 4 in this manner is because of the fact that when I use my finger and I'm dabbing it up, it actually leaves ridges. And so again, it's a texture thing and I wanted my gears to look old. All right. Off camera, I went and I matted all my photos. I actually double matted them. So I matted them in white and then I turned around and matted them in this like brassy, actually I think it's called brass, to be honest. So it's not really a gold, it's just a shiny brass. And then I also went and used my slim line or slim card, I don't know what they're called, you guys. I got a bunch of rectangles from Altenew and I love die cutting them all as one whole die cut and getting all these different kinds of picture frame type things going on. They just look fabulous, you guys. It's the only thing I've ever done with these. I don't really make cards at all, but doing this technique with them and just running it through as one whole die cut is awesome sauce. I love it. And I love the way they all come out and they look and oh man, it just makes me happy. All right. What is their name? Anyways, do I have it here? Oh, I do. It's called Nesting Slim Rectangle Die Set. Yep, that's what it's called. There's also a really, really big one that does make the card size. I never use it. And then there's a smaller one that's kind of more like a label size. I don't use that one either. So I only use the nesting ones that all kind of nest together. And then I get that really cool like slim line rectangle that doesn't have a hole in it. It's really cool. And also too, there is when you run it through your die cut machine, there is like a score line. So that score line isn't because I put multiple dies together. It is because it's on purpose. Yes. So, and I really liked it in this brassy color too. Oh my gosh, it was just a happy accident that it did that. I love it. All right. So kind of sort of going with my, what's it called? I don't know. With my layout that I'm scraplifting of myself. Weird. I just basically put the frames around and now I am weaving the gears and the leaves in and out and around. Now, these are just photos of the plaques that you see when you first get to Bodie. When you first walk into Bodie, actually, I have to be honest, I kind of sort of didn't see the plaques first because what is all around the bathrooms and things like that is an old mill. And I'm going to be scrapbooking that here in a minute too. Not in a minute, but in a bit. This month I will be scrapbooking it because it is, what's it called? It's called the Red Cloud Mine, and it's their mill, but their mill they tore down and got rid of the building, and so they moved all of the pieces up front to where when you first get to Bodie, that's what you see is all of the pieces left over from that mine, and there's actually a plaque right next door, so you know exactly what it is. This is the Red Cloud Mine mill. bits and pieces. And then, of course, on the path, there's a small little path right before you get to the town of Bodie. And it's tiny, you guys. You should already be there because it's kind of like the parking lot, but the parking lot is reserved for those that need assistance walking. So most of us, we had to walk quite a ways down to get to that assisted parking lot. And anyways, all of these are right in front of the parking lot, and it kind of sort of just says, hey, the town of Bodie was discovered back in 1854. 100 years later, they decided that they want to memorialize it and preserve what's left of it, and keep it, as part of California's history. And I guess there's a lot of people going around that are trying to keep California's history because it changes so fast. I mean, California is, I have to tell you guys, the most up-to-date town besides New York City. So you've got one extreme to the other on both ends of our, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying, you guys. But anyways, there is a like society, and the plaques talk about this society, and they used to be a society of miners that their families lived in Bodie, and that's where they started, and they had to be a secret society because of the fact that the townspeople didn't want them to think that they were trying to undermine the government portion that was in Bodie at the time. And so of course they had to be a secret. But when Bodie, fell under and had its accident, the what am I trying to say? The relatives or the family members that survived and remember living in Bodie and whatnot, and then of course 100 years later were told the stories and whatnot, the society stayed and remained as a whole, just not a secret. And so of course they proposed to maintain Bodie, and then there's a huge list of all of those people that put forth the effort to keep Bodie as it is, as you see it today. And so it's just basically not a memorial, placards, but just placards that say, thanks to these people, Bodie still here is for us to enjoy, is kind of what it is. And of course I wanted to document it because things like this over time, they weather and they wither and all that stuff. And if they get replaced, will the wordings be the same? If they ever were to get, become different, I just kind of sort of want to see that if I ever get back to Bodie again. And see these plaques and stuff like that. I do know that one of these have already had to be replaced, so I don't know what it looked like before. In fact, it actually talks about that on the placard. So anyways, this is what I came up with. It is kind of sort of, I was trying to go for the opposite of what it was that I was scrap lifting. So in my first lift, what I used was I made my frames and all that out of wood, and then this time I decided to use my base pages of wood and go with something else. And because of the brassy look that these placards have, I really wanted to do something metallic for that. All right, be sure to check out everyone else that is playing along with Groundhog's Day. I absolutely am just thrilled with this. Now, I do have to say at the very beginning, I made a mention of how we came up with this. We did not. The mouse in my pocket and I did not come up with this. It was something that I signed up for because we have a Facebook group for those of us that are in, that love to do YouTube hops and Instagram hops and things like that. And so this brainchild of Groundhog Day actually belongs to Jacque Crafty here on YouTube. Her and I believe Moira got together. Let me correct me if I am wrong, but Jacque, I want to say Malzahn. I'm not really sure if I'm saying her last name correctly. I apologize, but she is Jacque Crafty here on YouTube, and she posted up there, hey, who wants to do this because of this and all that other good jazz, and all that stuff. And so I thought it was really, really cool that she came up with this. And I thought that since at the very beginning, I kind of made a mention of it was a collective idea. It wasn't. And I apologize that I made it sound that way. That's my bad. And so anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to check out everyone else that is playing along. I honestly am so looking forward to watching everyone scrapple up themselves. It's going to be a blast to do it every single year. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, and I'll check y'all later. Bye.